I broke my back adding some serious modifications to my Bronco Raptor. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened, but I'm also gonna cover some epic upgrades on this truck. We have a lot of new people following our YouTube channel. So this is the first time you've seen this. This is my 2023 Ford Bronco Raptor, and it's got a lot of customization. And I'm gonna cover some things we've covered in the previous videos really quickly. First thing, you have got the matte paint protection film from Suntek. You've also got an RTR Grille with the LEDs and the marker lights in the grille because it's a Raptor, right? But there's some big epic upgrades that I'm going to show with you, and that is starting with these Baja Designs lights. The reason I reached out to Baja Designs Lights is because this thing actually comes with a set of rigid LED lights in the fog pockets from the factory. That sounds cool and all, but what I found out after driving this thing is those rigid lights that you get from the factory floor are not very bright, as you can see right there on the screen. In fact, let me go ahead and turn these things on so you can see what I'm talking about. These little fog pockets, the cool part is you've got 2 or 3 or 4 different types of sets of fog light pockets. You can get some that are street legal, you can get some that are not street legal. I don't know if you heard that crotch rocket, but somebody's getting after it. But anyways, you've got a lot of different options, whether you want something that's extremely bright or something that is roadworthy, whatever it is. I chose to go with these amber lights on the inside as well as these white lights on the outside because I know that if I'm gonna be riding through, and we've got some dusty trails here in Alabama, I know that this is gonna help me cut through that dust. But if that's not enough, you've got something right here. These are the XL80 pod lights, and holy crap.
Are you serious? This is torture.
It is insane how much extra light you're kicking out with these particular lights. In fact, I'm probably gonna have to cut them off because the camera is probably getting blown out and you can't even see what's going on. It's amazing to me how much of a difference these alone made, much less with these XL80s. Now, the cool part about these XL80s is you've got a lens up here, which one up top is kind of your spotlight. It's kind of looking directly forward. But it's got a different style of a lens underneath it that reflects. It breaks the light up and turns it into more of a floodlight. So you've got a floodlight and a spotlight all mixed in one. And the cool part is if you want to change it up at any point in time, Baja Designs actually sends you different types of lenses, and you can swap it out just by removing these screws, putting the new lens on, and boom, you got a completely different light. That is the coolest design I have ever seen. So one of the reasons that I love these Baja Designs lights, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to install these myself, I wanted to prove to the world that anybody can install these things. The wiring setup that they give you is extremely easy to understand. I was able to see what kind of build quality these things came with. You can even see right in here where the wiring actually dumps down into the engine bay, and with the upfitter switches, it was a breeze to install. So that's the cool part. The unfortunate thing is your boy, while he was installing all of these, had some pretty terrible posture. And apparently I had what's known as a pars hairline fracture in my back from an old football injury way back in the day. And after bending over and hunching over in terrible posture, and also probably not as strong of a core as I should have, my back finally said, screw you, I've had enough. And so after I got through installing all these awesome lights, I go get ready to go to bed, I plugged my phone up and I bent over and I felt this pop. Long story short, went to the ER, complete pars fracture, I think is what they called it, as well as a slip disc. The good news is I'm doing a whole lot of physical therapy and the doctor says no surgery. So praise God to that. I appreciate all the prayers from you guys that are following me on Instagram. But the frustrating thing of the whole setup is everything I'm showing you today, I really wanted to prove that it can be done in your garage if that's what you wanted to do. That was kind of the whole purpose until I blew my back out. So that's kind of a bummer because I want to show you a couple of the other things. Now you've also got your Baja Designs sport lights right here. As you can see, this has got a specific setup that's designed to be like that floodlight I was talking about earlier. It illuminates the entire back half of the vehicle, so that way if I'm at the campsite, at Bronco Super Celebration, or if I'm off-roading and I need to see exactly what's behind me, if I'm just backing up in the driveway and I don't want to hit little Johnny's bike, guess what? I don't have to worry about that. That leads me to my next thing. I knew that I wanted lights in this rear bumper, but I knew that I wanted a very specific bumper, and that is going to be this Fabfours rear bumper. The reason I wanted this bumper is because it's got some extremely thick construction. The metal is extremely strong. It's got the provisions for all of the parking sensors. It's got everything that I need, as well as no relocation of the rear tag bracket. Now, I know I don't have my TC Customs tag on here. That's coming. I literally just got this thing customized. And I wanted to show it to you, but I love these little pockets right here, because if you don't want to put lights, it still looks really cool. You got the mesh, you can kind of see through it. But if you need lights like I wanted them, boom, you got perfect opportunities to bolt them up to this Fabfours rear bumper. Now this has nothing to do with Fabfours, but I've also bought a set of RockSlide Engineering. This is their rear hitch slider, so it's a little extra protection. So if I'm coming off of a rock, I've got that as well as protection. But the other thing is, if I've got a small car that rear ends me from the rear, it's gonna go underneath me instead of into the actual vehicle itself. For my next party trick, we have one of my favorite features on my Bronco, and that is going to be the Warn Winch. Now, before we talk about the Warn Winch, because y'all know I won't put another winch on my vehicle, let's talk about how I mounted it up. So I wanted to make sure that I had full provision to be able to mount this massive winch. But I also didn't want to get rid of the modular bumper because I really like the idea of these fog light pockets from Baja Designs. So what does that leave me with? That leaves me with some kind of a mount where it mounts to the modular front bumper, but I also didn't want to go with a mount that actually blocks my adaptive cruise control sensor up here up front. So I found this one online, and we're not a dealer for them or anything like that, but it is a sweet little setup where it's got a nice cradle. It's up high enough. It's not too high, because I understand that the higher you go, the more leverage you have on those front frame horns. And so I wanted to make sure I kept it as low as I could, but also out of the way of the adaptive cruise control sensor. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit more about the winch. As you know, I love overkill, and that is exactly what Warn has got going on with this particular winch. This is a 12S Zeon winch, and what that basically means, it's 12,000 pound pull capacity, and the S stands for the synthetic line up front. I like the synthetic. Synthetic's not best for everybody. Some people prefer the steel, some people prefer the synthetic. I like the synthetic. But what I really like more than anything is going to be this. Bad back. This is one of my favorite pieces of hardware on this Bronco. So the way I look at this Warn Winch and the Factor 55 Ultra Hook, as well as the Fair Lead, this is what you call an insurance policy. It's something that you hope you never have to use, but dadgummit, one day when you slid off the road on that icy road, you're gonna be really glad that you had it. Because it's not just, usually when you go off road and you go in pairs, go with buddies, so that way something happens. But sometimes you gotta fly alone, and it's nice to be able to pull yourself out of situations if you have to do that. But this Ultra Hook is a pretty big setup for me. It does a couple of different things. The first thing that I love about it is you have this closed shackle mount system. So, you know what, let me show you. I got my little pouch. So anyways, you've got your Factor 55 bag, and I love this thing because it's got all of my recovery gear just in case. I never have to take it out of my vehicle because it really doesn't weigh that much. But that closed mount system allows me to take my soft shackle and actually loop it through to pull some things out. And I'm gonna demonstrate that here in just a second. But the other part that I love about this particular Factor 55 Ultra Hook is that you also can hook things up with the actual hook itself. But in addition to that, it comes with a pin, so that way you can actually lock this so now it doesn't come open. How freaking cool is that? This is, in my opinion, probably one of the most underrated pieces of recovery gear. And if you don't know about it, the other thing is I want to show you is you'll notice you've got grooves right here for your fingers. That's designed to ensure proper holding fitment. Because whether you realize it or not, anytime you hook something up, you always want to hook it from underneath. If you do it like this and something fails, it's gonna come up and hopefully not, but maybe in the cabin of the vehicle. But the other thing is, I wanna kind of get back to the winch itself. 12,000 pounds. This is a winch that's normally designed for F-250s. I got an idea. But it works, isn't it? For reference, that truck weighs about 7,000 pounds and the winch is rated for 12.5. That's the reason that winch is overkill. Oh, he get the Nobody said we were professionals here, come on. And those are the massive upgrades on my Bronco Raptor. The next modifications I want to do might take some time because I want to add a lift and some bigger tires, but the wife won't let me do the tires until these are bald.